Good morning, live from New York.
Good morning, Mr. Dan.
Good morning, Dan.
Uncle Dan.
Morning, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Randy. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Farron Cruz in the house. Hi, Linda. My Linda.
Hi.
Jeff Bailey. Mr. Kyle Tangle.
Good morning.
The man, the myth, the legend. One of the top salespeople in the country. I know. I know all about you, Kyle Tangle.
That might be a little creepy.
It could be creepy. It could be. Nicole. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning.
I love having you guys. I love being with you guys. I have so much fun. It's why I'm on the planet, to work with people, to help other people. You know, I spent my last 37 years studying this stuff. And so today what we're going to do is I'm going to work with Randy and with you guys on the Pro Tour concept. We haven't done this in a while, but Randy has implemented it out at his store in a very powerful way. And so I just want to review it, the philosophy behind it with you. Then I want Randy to explain how they do the Pro Tours out there at same day. And incidentally, this is something very powerful happened yesterday. I'll just share with you, and then Randy could elaborate on it. Randy and Danny were at a Tire Pros meeting, and everybody there wanted to know what is Same Day doing? How come they're killing it, doing so well? And so two things. One, Danny said, well, he didn't understand how come some of the dealers weren't getting into the Molloy philosophy like you guys are, right? That was one question. The other thing that Danny said, we're changing the industry. We're changing the tire industry. And I've been saying that for several years now. I declared it to the editor of Tire Review magazine. I've told it to the top people at Tire Pros. I've told it to you guys. And I love the fact that Danny's picked it up. He's running with it. And because that's the truth, guys. We really are changing the tire industry from being a information-based industry. And I want to be clear about the information is important, but the focus, the primary focus is commitment. We know that now. You guys should know that. We've been working on it together for 8-9 months, in some cases a year and a half, you know. So with that being said, I'm thrilled that he's making the declaration, right, to the industry. It's a fun game to play, right? Do you think we could change the whole industry? Somebody has to, right? It might as well be us. You guys are involved. You're part of this conspiracy now. You're in it with me, huh? So anyway, look, here's the thing on the whole commitment, notion of commitment. On the inbound call, we know what the commitment is, right? It's I can help you with that. That's the declaration. And the time element down below. I can help you at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right? Simple. Then you get to on the outbound call, it's, again, simple. Right? I'm going to take care of there's 3 commitments at the counter. 3 commitments at the counter. I can help. I'm going to take care of your oil change or your brake job, whatever the primary concern item is. Absolutely going to get that done for you at a certain time, within a time frame, right? By 2 o'clock, by 3 o'clock, by 5 o'clock, whatever. Give yourself some cushion. I'll get it done for you. I'll have it done for you in 20 minutes. Whatever the commitment is, I'll take care of the primary concern item. Secondly, I'm going to inspect the vehicle for you. I'm going to make sure my team does that, because that's what car guys do. We inspect vehicles, we make assessments, and we give you. Then the third promise is I'm going to get back to you on it. I'm going to report back to you my findings. Those are the 3. And then the third commitment, right, on the outbound call, or when you have to sit down is, well, what I want to do for you, right? I want to put brakes on your car. I want to put new tires on your car. I want to put a new engine in, whatever it is. Here's what I want to do. Here's why I want to do it. It's right here. What I want to do for you today is bada boom. The reason I want to do it, boom. And I promise you I'll have it done by a certain time. So again, it's very simple commitments on inbound call at the counter, boom, and on the outbound call. But now what we want to do also is focus a little bit on what happens. You do a great job on the inbound call, like you guys are doing. By the way, I know that I'm talking with the folks at Neighborhood Tire Pros, and I know you guys are killing it. And I know last month you were up 10% as a company, so kudos, congratulations. You know how many dealers in this country, how many companies would die for that kind of success? Right? You're aware of that, right, Kyle?
Yes, sir, I am. I chalk it all up to you.
Not to me. No, you guys implement. You guys implement. You guys got to put it on the court, and that's the key. Nicole, congratulations.
Thank you.
Really cool. Yeah, you're welcome. So anyway, so the Pro Tour, the concept of the Pro Tour is to, and I'm just going to lay it out here in a drawing format. So here's your shop, right? And here's the waiting room, right? Here's your kiosk and your other kiosk. It's a very small waiting room. Here's the couch for people to sit on. Here's all your displays and all that. And here's a door into the shop, and here's the bays. It's an 8-bay shop. Okay. So Randy, why don't you pick it up here, buddy, and share with the crew how to implement, what the Pro Tour is about, and how you guys implement it out there at the same day.
Absolutely. When we were introduced to the Pro Tour, we didn't know what that meant. And it's something that you have to take and make it your own, because every shop is different, and all of our shops are different. They're not designed the same. They don't look the same, they do on the outside, but on the inside, there's different layouts, of course. So everybody's a little bit different. But what we did is that the concept behind it is that if you get somebody, have you ever done business with me before? And they say, no, it's the first time as we practice, will you call the right place? Well, part of that, you call the right place, falls into place when they actually come through the door and they introduce themselves, and you recognize that it's somebody that you talked to on the phone, and you committed to them to take good care of them. And so what we do, and it happens daily, this is not something we have to pretty much think that we're going to do. It just happens now. It used to not. We had to make ourselves do it. But what they do is when they come in, you'll see my guys, me included, will wait just a second after we introduce ourselves and said, hey, come with me. Let me show you something. Right off the bat. We'll do it sometimes right off the bat. Sometimes we do it after we've got their car already in our database and ready to go. Maybe we'll have a work order in our hand, and we're still talking to them in the waiting room. It's all a procedure. Now we have things in place that we've done that was already there that now we have as significant stopping points. So I'll give you an example. Of course, waiting room. In my shop, we have a real nice waiting room. All the waiting rooms our businesses are nice. Okay, some of them are smaller, some of them are larger, but the waiting room is where everything really stops and starts. If somebody is going to wait on you, because you're going to come back there multiple times to talk to the customer, so naturally you want to introduce them to a waiting room. This is where our waiting room is, and this is where you can sit and wait while we check out your vehicle and that kind of stuff. And that's what we say. But as we come back by, there's a big picture we have on the wall there, and it's a picture where Danny was featured in one of the tire review magazines, and we stop and talk about that because it has his picture on it, and we comment about that, talk a little bit about it, keep building a little bit of credibility, okay, about who Danny is and who's.
So Randy, let me just interrupt real quick. So the idea here is what he's beginning when he says, "Let me show you around my shop," because he's about to tell a story, a walk and talk through the facility. And as he's walking and talking through the facility, he's painting a picture in the customer's head of all the great services and products that they can provide, and to talk about the people, like he's talking about Danny, right? So the idea is to walk through the shop with pride, puff up your chest a little bit and say, this is my shop. This is where I work. I spend more time here than I do at home, right? And I'm very proud of what we do here. Let me show you. Boom. And then you tell a story. So go ahead, Randy.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly the way that's the presentation. Again, here we go. We're dancing and we're leading. Okay, so here we are. We're the leaders in the dance. And this is a different form of it than being on the phone. And so as we go back, we show them where our pop machine is, where our candy machine, our bathrooms, and then there's a little entryway that we go into that's what we call our common area, and that's where all our BG products or whatever products we may be having service-wise that we may have that they are not familiar with per se, but we could it gives us a chance to stop there just for a second or two and talk about the Engines for Life programs and the programs that we have to offer that they may not be aware of. And then I said, and I'll say something like, and hey, I'll tell you what, when we get back in the shop, I'll show you the machines that actually take that product and allow us to put it into the vehicle and do it properly. And so I'll show you those. You'll like seeing them. And so then we're getting feedback from them, and they'll stop us a lot of time and ask us a couple of things. We have some posters on the wall right there that actually talk about our payment plans and our options for that. And we may turn around and there's another big poster there that shows Danny again. I say, hey, here's a better picture of Danny. I'm trying to introduce him to Danny because Danny's never hardly ever there, but he's a part of this business. So we want them to know that we're all in this together kind of thing. And as we walk through the back door and introduce our shop to them, then there's another stopping point there. And we talk about our equipment.
So right here, boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, we talk about our equipment,
Boom.
the money that we've got invested in. And some people say, isn't that a little bit egotistical? No, it's what we want them to know is we've got the equipment to be able to take care of their vehicle. We show them our alignment machine, our rack that lifts it and how it works. And
So let me interrupt one more time.
Go ahead,
So
anytime.
guys, the idea is that it's a 5-minute play. This is not going on for 15 minutes, right? This is a 5-minute situation. Boom. And what Randy's is telling you is he's planned out. He talks about his BG product here. Here's the flush machines.
Oh, it doesn't
Then
take
they have
any time.
stop 2. Right. Here's all the tire machines and everything, and the balancer and the whatever else they got going on here. Here's the diagnostics. So they plan out each step of the way, and here's the alignment rack. Each step, take 30, 45 seconds and explain what's going on. And as you're walking, here's one of your technicians, right? You introduce, say hello, boom.
They know what's going on.
Go ahead.
I mean, they're part of it too. They know exactly what I'm doing. Now, the first
Oh,
couple
that's
of times,
interesting.
yeah.
You've included them. Wow, cool.
Oh yeah, they know what's going on. When they see me back there, they know exactly what's taking place, and they'll all straighten up a little bit, and they recognize and they look at the customer and they wave at them and and everything. They know exactly what we're doing, and because we've gone over why we're doing this, and they understand it. They're part of this program too. You can't leave those guys out, okay? Just because you're learning doesn't mean they can't learn too. So the deal is that we talk about it, and then we walk out and we'll show them the machines, maybe the BG equipment's right there. You talk about that, and hey, we talked about the coolant. This is it right here. Okay, this is the machine. Oh, so now they see a big old black machine. They didn't realize. They thought maybe it was just something you poured in the motor oil or poured in the radiator, but now they begin to understand it's a process. So what this is doing again is to us, we're painting that picture like Dan says, and we're building them a ideal in their mind of how we work. You'll get so many comments like, "Wow, I didn't know y'all had all this. I didn't know you did all this. This is cool." And you'll get all those kind of comments. And I'll even walk them to the front where the drop-off box is and say, "Listen, if you ever need to drop off your vehicle, here's where we do it at. You can drop it off early or late at night, early in the morning, however. We'll get it the minute we walk through the door. This is how you do it." And I can walk them through that, and we walk back in and we introduce them back to I go on outside, especially when the weather's nice, and talk to them a little bit about it. It's outside, and it's the reality is that they're never expecting that. They didn't come in there for that. So when they leave, if they leave, drop off the car and they leave, and you call them back. Let's say you have to call them back later, and you talk to them about the vehicle, and you go, "Hey, remember when we went through and I showed you the product, the BG stuff?" Yeah. Well, that's some of the maintenance we need to do today. You know, I showed you the power steering machine, or I showed you the whatever machine. Well, that's what we need to do today. That's some of that we need to do today. Now, what you've done for them, you actually give them a visual in their mind of what it takes place and what it does, and you did it in less than 5 minutes prior to. What you're doing is you're building that trust in them right off the bat, and it's not some fictitious something they've got to sell you like at a Jiffy Lube, you know, or something like that.
Well, you know, I love what you're saying there, Randy, because here's what's so, guys, if you remember from the model here, the customer is just like you, just like us. They're human beings, right? So they are going to have some automatic thought in their head about what you guys do. Guaranteed. They think they know what they know, and they don't know what they don't know. But the point is, they have an automatic opinion about what you guys do. And what I love about what Randy's saying is that you can't let them think what they think. You have to have them think what you want them to think. So it's kind of like you're telling a story about the business so that they are on the same page with you, so that when you have the conversation with them later, there's some familiarity with what's going on in the business. You know, and that they go, oh, okay, there's a connection. Go ahead, Randy.
This is part of, as we continue to keep doing it, this is part of what I believe is going to be a major retention tool. Okay, and when I say that is that we're going to talk about that tonight in our meetings. We have a monthly meeting. Of course, we won't get into that with all our managers, but we talk about things like this, and we talk about the pro tours and how to retain customers. But this is a retention tool, simply because you've done something that nobody else has done, for one thing, and nobody's ever offered them. I've had 80-year-old guys actually tell me they didn't know they were allowed to come into the shop. Now, these are 80 years, you know, nobody's ever invited me into a shop. 80 years? Come on. Okay, no, but that's just how big of an impact this can actually make. And hopefully, like I said again, as you figure out how to do this and you walk through it, because it's not that hard, because you've done it already, but you've done it with your best friend or maybe somebody that you already know, and you kind of walked them through and brought them into the shop and showed them something, and held their hand and walked them kind of through the process. You know, you taking them out.
You know,
there
it's interesting, Randy.
tires. Yeah.
And I want to get some feedback from some of the folks here. Two things I want to say. If you have time, you do a big tour, 5 minutes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a lot of time, you got to do at least a 1 minute tour when they walk in. So the 1 minute tour would take place up here in the showroom.
Correct. And it happens a lot too.
Of course, you don't have time. So you walk out from behind the counter, excuse me, and you greet them. You say, I'm thrilled that you came in here, Mrs. Jones. Thrilled. I'm so happy. I'm Dan. I spoke with you on the phone. Let me tell you what we do here real quick. Boom. And then just take 1 minute, and you should have some displays around the showroom. You have your tires out. You should have some of the, you know, the exploded drawings that show the undercarriage of the car, that show the engine compartment, that show the braking system, that show the different components. You just let them know. Painting a picture by declaration in their head. Remember what declarations do. Declarations invent the future. So you have to declare, we do this, 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 we do this. Boom, now it's implanted in their subconscious. You know, and the other thing that's really, I think, so important is that you guys are in the middle of the cartoon world every day, and you forget how amazing your facilities really are. You forget that you've got $1 million commitment or more. Just the equipment, the flush machines, the diagnostics, just the knowledge that you guys have about you know, automotive, that you can look up and fix just about anything it's really amazing. The fact that you do.
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm going to talk about that, man. When we go back in the back, a lot of times we'll stop and we'll talk about one individual, maybe the guy that's standing closest to the door, maybe the guy in the middle of the building, but we may point him out and he says, you see that guy right over there? That's Joey. Joey's been with me for 18 years. That's an important statement. These are all not, there may be some young guys in there, and you may point them out. Hey, this is Logan. Logan came to me. He's been working with me for 2 years. We brought him up. He's learning to be a full-time technician now, and he'll smile and wave, and so they know that not only were we taking the young ones, but we're taking the old ones. It's a big deal, guys. They need to know who they're dealing with, who they're putting their card in their hands.
Correct. The people in the business that say that again. What do you mean, Brian?
It's transparency. It's the level of transparency. You're being open. You're putting it all out there. You're letting them see, building trust.
Yep. And also the other side of that transparency is that it's, you guys forget how big the commitment is to take care of customers, because you're in the middle of the soup all the time. You're in the middle of it. It's like the fish doesn't see the water. You guys are in the middle of it. You have to stop and really articulate the commitment, articulate the investment, articulate the knowledge, like Randy was saying, and plant that. And people will really appreciate it. They don't know the business is so incredible from a technology standpoint, the knowledge. You're an environmental organization with the recycling and the way you handle the waste oil and the skimmers and everything you have below ground to help keep the environment clean. People want to hear that stuff. The recycling, all of that. So it's really really a big deal to be able to do this. Randy, there was one story that I was moved by that happened recently with Josh, I think it was, in your store. If you could relate that story. The woman came in and then here's one other thing I want to say. When people come in, don't say, would you like to go on a tour? Wrong question. Grab them by the hand and say, let me show you around my facility. Big difference. It's like, I want to say it like this. If you go into a store, shopping, furniture store, and the guy comes up, the sales guy or sales gal comes up and says, can I help you? What's the immediate response? Automatic response. I'm just looking. We've all said it a million times, right? Wrong question. Let me show you around my shop. Come on, come with me. I got something to show you. Grab them. In a way, it's you're taking charge. They can always decline. What is your experience with that, Randy, when you do that?
It's funny because especially if you waited till they sat down in the waiting room. I mean, sometimes it happens. You'll think about it maybe a minute or two after they've sat down or something, and you'll go back and get them and say, use an example. Miss Jones, are you Miss Jones? Yeah. Miss Jones, come with me a second. And you'll grab, and she'll look at everybody like, uh-oh. And everybody might, some people might go, uh-oh, you're in trouble, or something like that. And so but we'll take her, ma'am, you've never been here before. I'd like to show you my facility. So come with me. And then and everybody knows what's going on at that point. Now, some of the people there may have already been through it. And they go, oh, he's going to take you on a tour. And so that's kind of cool. When you hear that, I've heard that. Oh, he's going to take you on a tour. You're going to enjoy this. So for people that have never been there before, they go, well, this is cool, because nobody's ever done this. This is like going to a craft beer place and paying and giving a ticket to go behind the scenes to see how they make the beer, But
you ever show them the still you have there in Sand Springs?
No, I don't show them no still, but
I don't show them the still. All right.
No, but anyway, we still won't be in business, Dan. The deal is behind this, guys, that to us, it's a big deal to us. We smile at each other when we do one. I mean, among ourselves, we know what we're doing, and it's a lot of fun. But the comments we get.
Share that story. Share this story with the guys and gals.
Oh yeah,
about what happened with Josh.
I was sitting in my office, and some of you have probably heard this, but if you haven't, we still talk about it. But Josh hadn't been with us very long, and he had gotten into doing the pro tours, and I looked out the window, and he was talking to a lady, and the next thing I know, he was talking to her. Next thing I know, I realized he was doing a pro tour, and I watched him disappear out into the shop. And I'm still sitting at my desk with I've got a window that I can see out of and just get up real quick. And so I looked, and he came back, and I could see him talk to her. I could hear her. And he said, ma'am, just have a seat right in on the waiting area where I showed you right there, and we'll be with you in just a minute. And she said, okay. And she started to turn. And just as she started to turn, she turned back to him before he had time to leave. And she said, you know what? He said, what? She said, I wanted to tell you something. And she said, I called 4 more places before I called you. He didn't really know what to say at that point. He said, oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. She said, but I came here because of the way you talked to me on the phone. And I seen old Josh just kind of straighten up just a little bit more, in his posture. And he said, well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. She said, very professional. And so he said, okay, ma'am, thank you. And she turned to when she turned to go to the waiting room, well, Josh looked immediately right straight through my window. And I seen it, and I was smiling. And he come busting over to my front door, my door right entryway, and he stuck his head around it. He said, did you hear that? I said, yeah, I heard it.
He gave her the wow experience, and let me go around the room. I love that story because it shows the connection between the inbound call, right? The commitment there. Now he gets to express, and she gets to experience the commitment in the store. And then the only one last piece, boom, but they're all connected. Each step of the way is connected. I want to go around the room. We have a few minutes left. Jeff Bailey, have you gotten involved in doing any tours in your facility? Bailey, you there, buddy? How about you, Kyle Tangle?
Absolutely. Definitely have.
How's it working out with you?
It works out well. Everyone always seems to like it. Not everyone wants to go back in the shop. It's probably 50-50, but I'll start off in obviously the showroom, show them coffee, bathrooms, magazines, Wi-Fi password, blah, blah, blah. Move them into the tire room next, tell them this is where the magic happens. And then from there, I show them the BG stuff and then ask them if you want to go out in the shop and see what's going on back there. Some of them say yes, some of them say no.
Right, okay, it's going to happen.
So either way, we come back into the sales office and then tell them this is where the magic happens.
That also, Kyle, I think depends on how you ask. So if you say, if you have a friend over to your house, never been there before, and you say, hey, let me show you around my house, they walk with you. They're not going to say no. So it's the same kind of move. If they've never been there before, really important. If they're familiar with the business and they know what you guys do, they've been there, coming there, and they're a regular customer, it may be a different story. But if they've never been there, I wouldn't ask them. I would grab them and say, hey, let me show you around my shop. Boom.
Okay.
In a way, it's not optional. It's
right.
Would you like? I think you get a 80% accept rate if you say, hey, let me show you around my shop. Come on, come with me. Boom. And then you grab them like that in a particular way,
I think you're right. That should work for sure.
Yeah, so try that one. Great feedback, Kyle. Appreciate it. You have anything else to share?
No, not off the top of my head. If I think of anything, I'll let you know.
All right, cool. Beautiful. Let me ask Nicole. Nicole, do you have any thoughts about this?
I think it's a great idea. Especially if you can break free, because normally we have a line all the time in here. And, so it's kind of hard to break from the front counter, or break from the phones, and then go over to the customers. But I have, walked the customers over, okay, this is where the password is. Of course, we have a table, you can do some work or whatever. I would take them back there. So, okay, like if they ever need to come in here and just get some air, they can go over, this is the area that you would come to, so I try to take them over to some of the places.
Let me share something with you that I think is a
tour. I don't give them the grand tour.
I know your store. You see 60 cars a day or some crazy number. I know that. But here's a big opportunity for you, right? You're in show business. You're on stage, right? And you've got 3 people in front of you, and you got a brand new customer standing right here at the counter, and you got 3 others waiting or sitting around, right? And they're all, when you take the time to do a really well planned out 1-minute tour with this customer, and you shout it out loud and proud, everybody hears it. So you handle everybody at the same time. It's real leverage. So that's, I think, the challenge for you guys at your store. Like Randy said, all the stores are different. But again, if you don't plant in their head what goes on in your shop, they will make it up, and they're going to be wrong. That's what happened. Then they'll go and get struts put in somewhere else, right? Or they get a brake job somewhere else because they think you're just the tire guys. You see, so that's, I think, the opportunity. I love that. It's showtime right here. And so you stand on stage, you come out, you say, 1 minute, boom, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. It's not about a lot of time. It's about taking control of the situation, because you're driving this big ship. Here's your big ship. You got all these technicians back here. You got people up here, and you're the captain of the ship. And you say, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's how we work here. Boom. Showtime.
Yeah, that's very dramatic. Wait till, and Nick, you wait till you get a chance to see this and play. But if you'll concentrate on it, and you got 3 people, and they're standing there, and you're bang, 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 and they're all waiters. Okay, for some reason does that happen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're all waiters. Now you got 5 or 6 or 7, or maybe even 8 or 9. Heck, I had to pull chairs in my waiting room that didn't have enough room. I'm going, holy cow. Okay. Mm-hmm. What's the deal with all the waiters? Well, that is a unbelievably good time. Okay, you take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and go, okay, guys, the tour starts in 20 seconds. Everybody line up right here. Okay, and they all look at each other. They don't know each other. What tour? Oh, I'm giving everybody a tour of my shop. Come, everybody line up right here. Okay.
Have you done that, Randy?
Oh, absolutely. I've done it twice. Okay? And one time it's like
I love
3
it.
people, and the next time it's like 5. And they all line up like a bunch of like a bunch of grade school kids, and they line up. And then we just go over it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, because you'll get questions that you might not get. Somebody will ask a question. Somebody will comment.
The other thing you could do there, Randy, in that situation is introduce Mrs. Jones. This is Mr. Smith. He's been this for 12 years. This is, and introduce the people so they start having conversations and networking as well.
Yeah. Well, when they go back and they sit down, now they kind of halfway know each other. When they didn't know each other, just sitting there silent in the waiting room, because they have something in common now. The people have something in common, And
see, now you're having real fun. Now you're having real fun in the showroom, and that's when you break out the still.
Yeah. Seriously though, it does break up the of that everyday type thing. So it may not happen every day, but you may go. And now that I've kind of planted that in your mind, go ahead and play with that, because the reality is that when you do it, you're going to have a great day, because you're going to have a lot of fun that day. You're going to remember it, and you're going to want to do it again.
Yeah, that's a great story, Nicole. So I think, Nicole, you have a special situation because your store's so busy, but I think that's the opportunity for you to realize that you really are in show business and you're a performer, right?
Yep.
Have you thought about it like that before?
I thought about it. Executing it, that's a different story.
I know.
So I've definitely thought about it, because
focus.
then or I'll get, I'm up here manning the counter while everybody's, helping in the back. So that means helping all the customers in here and answering all the phone calls. So when I'm thinking about, okay, well, this one we could do it, well, then we're like super duper busy, and all 3 of my other people up here are all in the back, either helping with tires or helping with cars, or, doing something, managing the back. So it's kind of difficult for me I was like, darn, that was a missed opportunity. But I can't just leave this front.
You have to pick your pick your moments. That's all. Pick your moment and go for it, like Randy was saying. Wait till somebody's there, or grab. So it's about design. So here you are, right at the counter. Here you are at the counter. There's a bunch of people over here, 4 people. So grab Drew and say, Drew, watch the counter, because I'm going to go educate these people. Then you walk over and say, I just want to share with everybody what we do here. I want to make sure everybody's clear about what we do. And boom, you give a 1-minute explanation. Then you come back and boom, and you worked it with Drew. You see, so it absolutely can be done. And my only point is this, is if you don't do it, like I said, they will all have different opinions about what you do.
You can't do it with everybody.
This goes for everybody.
You can't do it with everybody. Yeah, you can't. And I know that. We're not saying that that's possible. What I think, and I know what Dan has instilled in us, is that when the opportunity is there, go for it right then. Don't hesitate. Okay. because I know even with 60 cars and y'all are rocking, or 50 or whatever you're doing a day, you're rocking. Okay, I know what that means. But the reality is if you'll just go for it when the time is right, what'll happen is it changes the whole. Hey, you're going to pass 3 people just giving a tour that you didn't have time for.
Yeah.
You know, I've done it. I feel bad because I go out there and pick one person. I'm doing a tour. Now there's 5 in there sitting there. Why didn't you do that with me? Well, come on, let's go. You know. So, but it'll be real a lot of fun. So
what I have noticed is
guys,
that what I've been doing is when I'm walking out to a customer, vehicle with them, and as we're walking, say, back through the back of the shop, I will start explaining, so I'm kind of doing a mini tour, but then I'm thinking, okay, well, did I just do that? But
yeah.
I mean, I try to tell them, okay, this is where, different things, and we do more full service, so I explain certain things, and then, or if I am walking past somebody that's doing a machine, brake flush or something like that, they might look, okay, oh, I didn't know that you guys did that. Oh yeah, we're full service. And so then we do all the recommended flushes. So, I mean, I see myself and I hear myself doing that, but actually taking somebody from the counter, from the waiting room to the back, just without showing them their vehicle, like I have to show them something on their vehicle, that's something that I know that I have to work on.
Yeah, well,
but as I'm walking through the shop, then I could definitely do that.
There's no doubt you can do it. I have no doubt in my mind that you can do it. But like you just said, not everybody's the same. It's just everybody has to have their own time. It's just knowing. So
here's the guys here. Knowing you can do it and having a plan. That's what I was just going to talk about. Take a blank piece of 8.5 by 11 paper and draw out your shop, pencil it out here, and then just say, all right, here, when they come in, here's where I greet them, and here's where I'm going to talk about tires, and I'm going to talk about the payment options and the payment plans and financing. And then you have, like, put a little X, and you can even put a piece of paper, write out what you're going to talk about, and stick it on a column, stick it on the back of a toolbox, and so that you say, okay, here's, we talk about the flush here, here's where we talk about the alignment, here's where we talk about the tire machines, here's where we talk about the diagnostics. Whatever it is in your shop, there's only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places perhaps that you stop and give a little talk and time it out. So yeah, you do have to plan it. It's not going to happen by itself. You do have to plan it out a little bit.
Just a quick note. Okay? The way we did that, Nikki, is, and the way I taught my guys to stop and talk, we put those boat numbers like you put on the side of a boat, our house numbers. Mm-hmm. We got 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, or whatever, and we got them. And they're just stuck on the side of a tire machine. Number 4 is. I can tell you right where all of them are. Number 5 is on my stairwell where my BG equipment usually sits. Number 6 is outside when we talk about the flat bay and the diagnostic. Number 7 is where we talk about the strut machines and stuff like that. We may not make it to number 7. We may not make it to number 5, but that's a stopping point. So my guys know that's when they turn and look at their head and they see that 4, they know that's it. This is where I stop, So it's literally a planned out thing. It's not something that haphazardly happens. So that's why it goes so smooth.
Yeah.
And so
nice. Very good, Randy. We could talk. This is a great topic, and it works, guys. But we're out of time. I really appreciate everybody being here. Go knock them out. Have fun today, and give some tours. Show people around your store. Okay. And we'll see you next week.
All right, y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you, Nikki. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Good job, Dan.
No, thank you, Randy. Very good. Excellent. Yeah.